Welcome to the Esthetician Coach Podcast, a podcast for estheticians that are ready to grow and scale their business to the next level. I'm your host and esthetician coach, Amber Boone. Join me each week for education, inspiration, and guided support to help you create a successful business and career on your terms. Welcome back to another episode of the Esthetician Coach Podcast. I hope you are finding some helpful tips and some value for your business in these episodes. That is my goal. I'm so happy that you're continuing to join me each week. And if you are loving the podcast and would be so kind to rate it and leave me a review, it will help me towards my ultimate goal, which is 10K downloads by December 31st. And I know it's a big goal for a newbie. So any help you can give me, I would greatly appreciate it. Share it with your favorite estheticians. Rating and reviewing, they say, is what helps your podcast get found. So I'm learning all of the things about podcasting. So that is my ask. If you can help me out, I would appreciate it. So today we're going to be discussing how I made six figures as an esthetician. Why? Why do you want to know? Because I want you to know that it's possible. So I'm breaking down how I did it and how you can too. So I've got some good, valuable tips that I think will be helpful for you, but also talking a little bit about my journey on the way to six figures. And you guys, I'm very old school. I never really liked talking about how much money I made or what I'm making. And I'm not sure why, but that is ingrained in me. My husband thinks it's funny. We'll go to the grocery store and I'm like, hiding my wallet, like counting out my money. And he just kind of chuckles he's like, why do you not want anybody to know how much money you have? I don't know. But so my goal in talking about it is to help others succeed and know that it's possible, because I didn't know it was possible is the thing. And I feel like I'm a little behind the times because all I'm seeing on social media now, I don't know about you guys, but is seven figures. It's seven figure this, how to get to seven figure that. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for it all. I'm here for the 6, for the 7, for the 8, for the 10. Bring me all the figures, right? And I'm sure you feel the same way. But we got to get to 6 before we can get to 7. So that's what we're talking about today. Here's my view on money. I like nice things and I like being able to buy things. But ultimately, I just want enough money to not have to worry, to be able to take care of my family, to not live paycheck to paycheck, to be able to travel or take a day off and it not be a big deal, to be able to help people financially. So ultimately, the freedom and the security that money brings is what I believe most of us are after. We want the opportunities that money can provide us. And I could be wrong. And if you have different money goals, that's completely okay. Live it up. I am here for all of them. Bring those goals to the table. But we all grow up with different money beliefs and different lifestyles. And, I grew up in a small town, so I never even knew to dream for six figures. It just wasn't on my radar. I didn't know that it was a possibility for me. So when I started my journey of being an esthetician, it truly was just to pursue a career I would enjoy, doing something I love. I was leaving a corporate job and I'd been there for 10 years, which I didn't make six figures at it, but it was financial security, and it, had insurance and all of the things. So it was a really scary move to make, starting over in a completely different career path, not knowing where I was headed. And over the course of my journey, I really had to shift my mindset and my money beliefs and know that I was good enough to earn more. And the only thing that was really stopping me was me. And you have to create that mindset that anything is possible for you and that you are worthy of earning as much money as you want to earn. You have to believe in yourself and your business and ultimately in the journey that you're on, because that's where it's going to start and where it's going to end. You have to keep believing in your journey, even when the clients aren't freely walking through the door, when there's nobody there clapping and cheering you on, when you're struggling and you're having a bad day or maybe a bad week. You still have to do the work. You still have to get up and show up and believe in yourself. And I seen a quote the other day, and it's, believing in yourself is a full-time job. There's no days off. And it's so true. You have to keep believing in yourself even when nobody else does. You have to keep doing the marketing. You have to keep putting in the time. And guys, it can be exhausting, let me tell you. But you have to create that mindset, the discipline. You have to have the discipline. You have to have that grit. You have to stay consistent. Your why is what will ultimately carry you through these tough times. So that's really where you have to start, is with your why. Why are you an esthetician, or, whatever career you're in? Why do you want to make a career in this industry? Why do you want to make 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever your goal is? And what will making that money or earning more money do for you, do for your family? How's that going to change your life? Think about those things. For me, I paid off my student loans that I had for over 19 years. It was the same amount, $43,000, because I could never afford to make more than interest payments. And I mean, it was just a gut-wrenching cycle of interest. The student loan system is so broken, but that's a topic for another day. But it was so frustrating for me to never be able to get ahead because, sometimes I was working 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, not even making any extra money. So this was life-changing money for me. It helped me get out of debt, and that was a big part of my why. It's why I kept showing up and trying to figure it out. Because I failed more than once trying to figure this journey out to earn more and to make enough that I could pay off my debt and make enough to live. And it didn't happen overnight. But I wanted to succeed so badly because I didn't want to be in that financial position. I wanted more for myself and I wanted more for my family. With that being said, money wasn't my only driving factor, but it was a big one. But it was equally important for me in this field, in this industry as an esthetician, to provide the clients that I was serving with value and education so they would want to continue getting treatments and buying products from me. If I didn't believe in a product or treatment and didn't believe that it could truly get my clients results, I wasn't going to sell it because that was a trust that I had created with my clients. So I was strong in my convictions, and some of my ex-coworkers can probably attest to that. But I only offered and sold to my clients what I thought was going to get them the best transformation. And ultimately, I believe that is another reason why I was so successful, is because I was truly only selling what I knew was the best of the best and what would get them the results they were looking for. So we've talked a little bit about your why, a little bit about determination. I started in the industry in a hotel spa environment, and it was a great start. I think it gave me some really good foundations to build up on. And it's also where I met my husband. He was a banquet chef in the kitchen, so it was truly meant to be, and I feel that with my whole heart. But I worked there for a couple of years, almost 2 years, and I started out making $12 plus commission and tips. I think my yearly salary was around $32,000. So not bad for just starting out, but it took my whole paycheck just to get by. So it was not by any means amazing money for all of the bills and things that I had to pay. So fast forward, went to work for a plastic surgeon, negotiated my starting pay at $20, no tips, no commission. And that's also when I really chose to niche down. And I did cool sculpting for almost 2 years there, just cool sculpting pretty much. I mean, I might do another service here and there, but it was mostly just cool sculpting. But I knew that if I wanted to earn more, that I had to earn the practice more. I couldn't just go and ask for a raise because I needed more money in my paycheck. And I think that's where a lot of estheticians go wrong, is the expectation that when they go to work for someone, that they expect the employer to do all the marketing and supply all the clients. And some of that will happen, and it should happen. Don't get me wrong. They should be an equal partner in marketing and all of the things. But the most successful estheticians that I see and that I become are the ones that are taking responsibility and marketing themselves and treating it like it's their business too, because ultimately it's their paycheck. And I know some people may disagree with me on that, and some people may think it's all of the business's job, but I just wholeheartedly believe that I've been so successful because I've played an active role and took responsibility for also marketing myself. So around that time, I was trying to figure everything out. I hired an esthetician coach, and at the time, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to afford the monthly payments of hiring an esthetician coach, but I knew if I didn't get unstuck and get some help that I was going to stay in that position. So I knew I wanted to grow and I wanted to propel myself forward. And I worked with her for about 6 months at that time. And she truly helped me find the confidence and the structure and help me know my worth and not be afraid to ask for it. So that was truly an invaluable experience. And I've had a coach in my life since then because it's been so beneficial for me and helped me grow. So it took me about 9 or 10 months to really start growing my cool sculpting business. And when I say growing, I grew it pretty rapidly. But I started tracking that growth and I tracked how much money I was bringing in so that I knew my numbers. And once I knew that aspect, I started doing my research. I started to ask other estheticians. I asked the rep, what are other people making in this industry in the same role? And I laid it out for my employer. I took all of my research that I had found, I took all of my numbers that I had been tracking, and I asked for a raise and I asked for commission. He agreed to a meeting and agreed that, yes, I deserved a raise and commission. By the end of that year, I was making $65,000, which was helping me get out of debt, and it was changing my beliefs surrounding money and my confidence in negotiating my worth. So I say that, you can always negotiate your worth, but you can't just go into your boss's office if you're working for someone else and ask for a raise when you're not doing the work to earn a raise. So just because you want more money doesn't mean you deserve more money. And I think that sometimes is a lot of the mentality that people have. They think, well, I've been here for 5 years, so I deserve a raise. Well, what are you doing for your employer? How are you making them more money? How are you earning more for them? So I really see both sides of it. And I really think, that you have to market yourself in this industry, especially now because it's grown so much. So I do think you have to do those things to stand out and to be different. And I really don't think it all falls on the employer anymore. Maybe it used to, but now if you want to earn more, you need to bring your worth to the table and you need to negotiate that worth. My next best move was working in a high traffic med spa. It is worth the hype, let me tell you. It ultimately led to me crossing the 6-figure mark with commission and tips only. And I do not take lightly that we had amazing management and owners that I felt like I could go to and negotiate my commission and certain treatments. And we were usually able to meet in the middle. If they couldn't, reach exactly what I wanted, they were very giving and very generous into trying to meet me in the middle or meet me halfway. And so I was very blessed in that respect as well. So creating your worth and then finding an employer that knows your worth. And I didn't just start negotiating in this role either. I proved to them that I could sell. I proved to them that everything that I told them in my interview was true, that I could sell the products, that I could sell the treatments. And then I went back and negotiated. It wasn't like I went in day one and said, I demand this, I demand this. But like I said, finding an employer that is willing to work with you goes such a long way. And I was very blessed in that respect. My focus was on high ticket treatments and selling retail, meaning that I wanted to do treatments that were at least $250 or more. I wanted to have those treatments scheduled on my books because I knew I could always upsell and upgrade those treatments as well. And that took time to build. That didn't happen overnight. Another strong point is retail sales. I was often the highest selling retail esthetician because I attempted to sell to every client. I typically sold high-end retail products, which made my retail commissions higher as well. So those are two things that you have to look at, whether you're working for an employer or you're a solo esthetician. How much are your treatments? Because you're going to have to price yourself accordingly, and you're going to have to sell, higher end retail products to get to those numbers and to make that math and make sense. So those are things that you have to look at when you're creating your business plan or setting your goals, which leads me into pricing strategy. And you never want to be the cheapest in town, or at least I don't, and I didn't then. I don't like, and I think you've heard me say this before, I don't really like a lot of discounts because I believe we should be able to bring the value and the education that we're providing with the products and the treatments that we're giving. But if you're the cheapest in town, it's going to attract clients that are only looking for a bargain and that are more than likely spa hopping or esthetician hopping, and they're not going to be faithful to you. They're not going to come back and see you unless you're having a deal. And that's just not the type of clients that I want to attract to grow my 6-figure or 7-figure empire or business. And that's just, the truth. That being said, you want to reward your regular clients by either having a reward system for them or letting them have first dibs on new product or treatment, throwing a freebie every now and again. I have no problem rewarding your loyal clients that come to you on a regular basis. They should be rewarded, and they should be the ones that are getting the freebies and the discounts every now and then because they are the ones that are faithful to you. But just throwing out a freebie or a good deal and being the cheapest in town, that's not what I want to be about. And I don't think it's what you want to be about if you've got big money goals. And I know I talked about this before, but marketing yourself. And when I worked for another employer, several times, I did this for several different employers I worked for. I did my own Facebook ads. I paid for them. I did giveaways of product that I bought or got for half price on my Instagram to try to create, more followers and get more business. I would create my own referral cards for myself. I did a lot of things behind the scenes to help grow my clientele because I always wanted to be busy, and I knew I had to prove to my employer, my boss, that I could get busy, that I could bring clients in, that I could sell the high-ticket items, that I could sell the products in order for them to pay me more, reward me, give me commission. I knew I had to work for that, and I didn't mind doing that. I've never had a problem proving myself, and I will continue to do that in my career. And that's the mentality that you have to have going in working for another employer. You have to prove your worth. And I know, maybe you say, well, that sucks. And maybe it does. I don't know. But I've never had a problem with proving what I'm saying that I will do and doing what I say that I'm going to get done in order to earn more, in order to grow. And, you are going to have these employers out here that are not willing to work with you and not listening to you. And maybe, that's not where you need to be. So you do have to find that happy medium where the employer does get it and does know your worth and is willing to work with you. But I absolutely believe it exists. I know it does because I've worked for them. So after you market yourself and after your employer is marketing you, and you're both doing all of the things to get busy, you've got to keep those clients. So client retention is going to be huge. They say, I think it's 20% of your clients, it's the 80-20 rule, bring you 80% of your revenue, I believe that is. And I believe that's so true. So you really want to retain those clients that you do get, those new clients. When I was in the spa, I would handwrite thank you cards to all of my new clients, or to clients that hadn't been in a while. I would write them a handwritten thank you card or a handwritten note to say, hey, I miss seeing you. Where have you been? Hope you're doing well, and send it out. And that made such a huge difference to them. They would usually call and thank me, or they would book an appointment and I would see them. I would also call them. If I hadn't seen them in a while, I would pick up the phone. I'd say, hey, I hadn't seen you in a while. How have you been doing? How's your skin doing? How are those products you got from me last time? That's another thing. I tracked all of my clients. So put, what they have purchased and put some notes in there. So that helped me keep track as well. So, and I would ask them about that, and they would appreciate that. And I really did care, like, how's your skin doing? How's those products doing? Because if I sold them something that didn't work for their skin, I wanted to make it right. I wanted to make it better. Or the same with a treatment. If I gave them a treatment and it wasn't working, I wanted to correct it and fix it and make it better for them and make them want to come and see me. So really, if you're wanting to make 6 figures or you're just wanting to earn more, these are things that I think you should start doing and looking at today. So number 1, we talked about knowing your why you're an esthetician. Why do you want to make life-changing money? How will it change your life? This will keep you motivated to keep going on those rough days, on those tough days that you feel like giving up. This is going to keep you motivated if you keep coming back to your why. So continue learning, immerse yourself in this industry, become the expert. Find your niche, find what you're passionate about, find what you love. Number 2, invest in yourself. Hire a coach, sign up for those continuing education courses or that conference. I have never, ever regretted investing in myself, and it always pushes me to the next level. Always. Number 3, negotiate your worth. So don't be afraid to negotiate your worth with yourself if you're a solo esthetician and paying yourself, or if you're working for an employer, but bring your worth to the table. Know that you got to bring it and then negotiate it. Price your services effectively. So this is probably a little bit more for solo estheticians unless you are working with someone that lets you help with the pricing, which is also amazing. But make sure you're pricing your services for those money goals that you want to be hitting and you want to be making. But you can't get to 6 figures easily by charging $65, $75 for a facial. It's going to lead to burnout. You're going to be in the treatment room all day, every day. And it's just not worth your time or your effort to price yourself so low when you put so much time and energy and education into your career. So you really need to price yourself and your services effectively and where they need to be in order for you to be meeting and reaching your goals. Think about your why. Go back to your why. Focus on, number 5, focus on retail sales and high ticket treatments. So you're going to have to sell that retail. I'm telling you, it's going to be a game changer for you if you're not selling it and those high ticket treatments. So focus on those treatments that are $250 and above. And if you don't have a high ticket treatment and you're a solo esthetician, create one. There is no reason you can't create a high ticket treatment at all. In fact, last week's episode was on some fall and winter high ticket treatments. And even if you don't have the big lasers and the big machines, that's okay. There's still ways that you can create a high ticket treatment for your treatment room. Okay, number 6, market yourself. Whether you're working for yourself or you're working for an employer, I don't care. It's important that you market yourself, okay? Because you're growing your business. You are growing you. You are growing, and this is only going to teach you skills that you can utilize in life later on. But market yourself. Number 7 is create client relationships that will build client retention and loyalty. If you're creating those relationships behind the scenes, those clients are going to be loyal to you, and that's going to help with your overall retention rates. Like I said, write the thank you notes, follow up with a phone call, treat those clients like your VIP clients, and they will remain loyal to you. Number 8, be determined to succeed. You got to be determined. You got to be consistent. You got to have that grit. And if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you. My quote for you today, the key to making money is to stay invested. So stay invested in you. Stay invested in your business, stay invested in education, and continuing to motivate yourself and do things that is going to help you reach those end goals, reach your end goal, whatever that end money goal may be or life goal may be. So I'm so excited for future episodes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I wasn't on my soapbox too much, but I appreciate you being here. Like I said, leave a review, rate the podcast. Let me know what you want to see in upcoming future episodes, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Esthetician Coach podcast. If you want more esthetician growth strategies and tips, go follow me on Instagram at Esthetician Coach. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love it if you left a review and shared it with your favorite estheticians. Keep doing the work, stay positive, and I'll see you next week.